have criticized as part of the Hunter Biden New York Post story in 2020. So what is different here and there?
No more acceptable for me. It's no more acceptable for me, for you, than it is for me. Same thing. So anyway.
So it's unacceptable what you're doing?
He couldn't even answer 3 questions. And then he just destroyed and deleted Twitter Spaces. I'm not joking. After this, I guess he thought the solution to this is, I don't know what's glitching out, and we don't really have a team to be able to fix that. Much easier if I just get rid of Twitter Spaces. So Twitter Spaces is gone now. He says he's working out a legacy bug. Yes. Weird timing. Weird timing that he found a legacy bug that just happened to appear right when he publicly embarrassed himself on Twitter Spaces, as people he banned were also on that Twitter Space broadcasting about how he is to people on his own platform. That is very embarrassing. That is very sad and embarrassing. It's genuinely, this entire thing, like, so pathetic. So pathetic. I'm guessing most of you were either awake or online yesterday for the Great Purge as it took place. Multiple journalists have been purged from Twitter for reporting on Elon Musk, and the saga seems to be increasing and getting more and more strange as time goes on. Some have said it's a complete and utter meltdown from a billionaire, but others have said that maybe it's not a complete and utter meltdown, it's more of just someone soiling themselves publicly on a device that they paid quite a bit of money to soil themselves and broadcast it, a amplifier, if you will, of the soilage.
Major social media platform and drawing criticism from world leaders as a result. The German foreign minister chiming in this morning saying press freedom cannot be switched on and off on a whim. One of those journalists who was banned last night is CNN's Donio Sullivan. He joins us now. There are a lot of things to clear up here. I think the most important is an accusation that he made. Elon Musk said, quote, "They posted my exact real-time location." Did you do that?
No, that's just entirely false. And from what we can see, the other journalists who have been suspended as well.
By the way, I know a lot of people are scared, especially a lot of people are very scared of billionaires, and a lot of people on Twitter are very scared of Elon Musk. You can tell just because they're kind of like, oh, you can do no wrong, sir. Like, did you see how fast Tim Pool was like, brain? All of a sudden he's like, makes a joke at Elon Musk's expense, and then Elon sees it. He's like, I actually think Neuralink is a very good device. Yes, and you're the biggest brain 9,000 IQ genius with a monster penis. Everything's great, Elon. They're all very nervous. I get this. But at the same time, you can call this out. This is so sad. This is a fucking grown ass, what is he, 4th richest man in the world, who's straight up like, he's lying, and everyone knows he's lying. It's so like, I was at a concert and it was like, it was 90% cheers, about 10% boos, and then a fight broke out, and that's why they were booing. It wasn't because, no, motherfucker, we have eyes and ears. We all saw it. We all heard it. That was cringe. You win, the cringe of 2022, no competition. I don't even need to place a top 5. Like, if someone's going to be like, well, what about Ye? Ye went from cringe to, emboldening white supremacy, hardcore racist. Well, I guess Elon did too, but at the same time, Elon is more cringe. It's far more cringe to have him in a stadium with 18,000 people. And yes, Chappelle is very cringe too, don't get me wrong. Chappelle went from like the GOAT to being like, my audience is poor, all of you are broke, I have to spare the feelings of the world's 2nd richest man. Either way, so cringe, so unbelievably cringe. Don't let him get away with this whole thing where it's like, I'm doing this strictly because my life was directly in danger, I was almost assassinated. It's like, no. It like, nothing here adds up. These people didn't post a live tracker GPS of where you were at all times. That's not what happened. Like in the case of Matt Binder, he just posted that the LAPD said that they don't think a crime has not even been charged yet. I mean, they're investigating it. They're taking it seriously because, yes, you are a billionaire who was like, I was almost assassinated because of all these reporters. They geolocated me. Yes, that's how this happened.
Did not post his precise live location.
What did you do?
This all goes back. I poked the billionaire. This all goes back to a few days ago when there's this account that tracks the location using publicly available information of his plane. And he kicked that off Twitter. He changed the rules to make it against Twitter's rules. And we were reporting on that. We were reporting on the shutdown yesterday. And late last night around 8 p.m., colleague Oliver Darcy texted me to say...
So there's no question that Elon Musk is palling around quite a bit with the, let's say, the far right, and is a reply guy for the far right, which is why the normies don't like him, by the way. Not just that, him firing a whole bunch of Twitter employees, him firing especially a lot of women, all this kind of stuff. This doesn't play well with normies. He's lost the libs, he's lost the centrists, he's basically only in the good graces anymore of the far right. So Ian Miles Chong, even though he's got so much yikesy shit, including making jokes about raping children and stuff, he's fine being a reply guy for that. You know, people like Mike Serenovich, even though he's a rape apologist, he's fine being a reply guy for that. All these gross ass, you're like, what the fuck, what are you doing there? Like Tim Pool, the centerpiece beanie that connects the entire fucking fascist multiverse, is in the middle of all that. Doesn't mind being a reply guy for him either. They are very dangerous people, and it's become normalized now because he's brought all these people back. Like, look at this thread at the very top. Daily Stormer founder Andrew Anglin. I've known a lot of people who have taken psychedelic drugs, and I've yet to see one who's appeared to have been enlightened by the experience. You don't need to respond to Andrew Anglin. You can just leave him alone. But Thundercock comes out and it's like, everyone should watch this video. It's hilarious and says enough about the type of people who do psychedelics and what drugs end up doing to you. Permanent brain damage and end up being demonically influenced and possessed. They seem to be the norm. Not really a thread that anyone should participate in unless you are kind of into interacting with these. Oh shit, there's Jimmy Dore. Cancer patients who were given psilocybin reported reduction in anxiety, depression, hopelessness, demoralization, and death anxiety for more than 4 years after receiving a dose of combination with psychotherapy. I can't say about that. Medicinal purposes are something different than recreational use, but if you've been enlightened by tripping, you're probably old enough to be able to say objectively. I didn't respond yet. But just, I don't know what you're doing here, Jimmy. Why are you hanging out with these motherfuckers? This is not a good corner of the internet. I'm assuming. Yay 24. What a surprise. What a surprise.
Been suspended from Twitter.
Yeah. So you really, I wasn't joking or serious. What did you do? You just simply reported on Twitter and Elon Musk.
We did reporting. And look, I mean, I think it's important to point out here. Twitter is a private company. Yeah. It can do whatever the hell it wants, okay? You know, when it kicked off, Donald Trump, back in January 2021, many people said, look, Trump has other platforms. Twitter, as we spoke about yesterday, the First Amendment does not apply to Twitter. But coming from the guy who's the free speech absolutist, who says he wants this to be a beacon of free expression, it is
DB
quite
Zedvin,
something to
thank you
see
for the
him
tier
banning
one.
journalists who all just happen to cover him critically, but I would also say fairly.
You obviously have a unique perspective because you've been reporting on him in this, and you'll continue to. You're also in the middle of it in a weird way that journalists don't want to become the story. The question is, what levers are there to pull now? You heard what the German foreign minister, I think that was, said. What will businesses do? What will media companies that advertise on it do? CNN says they're reevaluating our relationship with Twitter in that statement. What will big advertisers?
Free speech is so complex. It's so wild.
There's like an Apple do.
I mean, I think our colleague Oliver, who's been reporting this out this morning, also said that that is something to watch. You know, I think one thing that's really important to stress here is I have a platform. I'm on CNN with you guys right now. We are in the privileged position, really, as journalists, where if we want to quit Twitter, we're still going to be able to report and do our jobs. For a lot of independent freelance journalists around the world, you know, the reality is they have to be on Twitter because that is where editors and publishers will see.
Not to mention, I don't know if you saw this that story, but there's a number of individuals who are reporters in, you know, countries in Africa who have said that like the verification badge has actually acted in some ways as like a press pass for me to be able to get into areas or environments and sometimes maybe even save my life, which is like, you don't think about that. You don't think of the severity of, you know, Elon Musk basically being like, I'm going to give anyone who wants it, including neo-Nazis and racists, the ability to buy this for $8. And then meanwhile, like, you know, journalists who otherwise would not be able to afford, you know, that kind of credentials. All of a sudden, this is like, well, this is put into jeopardy because the verification system is kind of, it's kind of a circus now.
See their work and might hire them. I worry about the chilling effect that this might have on those reporters, particularly when you think that Musk also owns these other companies, Tesla and SpaceX. What if you're in Germany or elsewhere and you're reporting on maybe poor working conditions? Is he going to come and just stamp you down because he says, oh, that's against the rules?
Wow.
I'm still fascinated, though, about how this actually went down. You said our colleague Oliver Darcy is the one who told you that you got suspended?
Yes, that's correct.
Does that mean Twitter had not They didn't email you. They didn't say, hey,
No.
you're in violation of this policy. Don't do this or don't do this.
Yeah, as far as I see, I didn't get an email. About an hour or so after I got banned, after Oliver told me, I did get the message on my account, which I think we just showed there a minute ago, where it says you are permanently suspended.
Oh, so you got a permanent. Okay, I hope Binder's isn't permanent. I have an idea, Elon Musk. Unban the journals who posted the docs, and we can make a real-time tracker for every journalist. They are high-profile people, and they should have no problem with everyone agreeing to access publicly available information about where they are at all times. That's not what fucking happened. They didn't post real-time. Why do you buy his lies? He can say whatever he wants. He can be like, today someone almost assassinated me. Someone stabbed me in the leg 57 times. Luckily, I survived it because of my superior blood. Now I am going to rule the world with an iron fist and save the universe. And they would all be like, wow, can't believe that. That's wild. Someone tried to stab his leg 57 times, but he was able to survive because of his pure blood. He just seems like a better stock than most. Elon, you can do no wrong.
I want to know what you think about that phone call last night. Was he just, with reporters, was he just being a big baby because it has happened before when he doesn't like?
Yes, he's been a man-child. I want to turn to the BBC. Who's this?
I truthfully don't know. I'm racking my brain to try to figure out what could have possibly broken Twitter's policies, and I'm coming up with nothing, honestly. I added the Elon's Jet Twitter account, the one that was tracking his his private plane, but that was when it was already suspended, and I just added it right on the platform. So I mean, it was just basically pointing that, oh look, this account was suspended.
Have you been critical of his leadership?
I have. I've posted on both Twitter and in my reporting for Mashable about how, I think he came in with a big.
First off, this is so cool. You love to see it. Well done, Matt. Way to go on to every single news outlet that you can. I just shared this straight news update just posted by @Donnie, and moments later he's suspended. So Donnie O'Sullivan posted this, and what it was the LAPD statement. This is where things get really, really sad. So Elon Musk says, last night, car carrying little X in LA was followed by a crazy stalker thinking it was me, who later blocked the car from moving and climbed onto the hood. Legal action is being taken against Sweeney, the person who runs the Elon Jet account. That remains to be seen, by the way, so we'll see what happens. According to Rolling Stone, as well as numerous other outlets, there's at this time zero evidence of any of this happening, including the fact that at most Elon's Jet account would have posted the airport that Elon's Jet would have arrived in, and then that would have been separate from where exactly the vehicle was located, which was not in that location, which is also kind of sketch. But Matt Binder posts this statement by the LAPD, which is just a public statement, by the way. This is not a secret statement. They made this statement publicly. LAPD's Threat Management Unit is aware of the situation and the tweet by Elon Musk and is in contact with his representatives and security team. No crime reports have been filed yet. No crime reports have been filed yet. That was enough to start roasting these accounts and then saying that they were posting information. No, they weren't. If you copy and paste this sentence, that's not posting personal information. Even if you link to the LAPD's link, that doesn't show where Elon Musk or his children are currently at this moment in time. That's 100% falsifiable.
Ideals, and he hasn't delivered on any of them. In fact, in some ways, what he said he was going to go and do with Twitter, he's done quite the opposite. It's rather hypocritical.
And what will you do now? Will you request to be reinstated, or will you take your comments elsewhere?
Well, it appears there is a Twitter poll on his account right now, and he's done this before where he's told the Twitter users what they want to see. And
so fucked.
It looks like maybe he'll listen to it this time. I'm not sure. But Twitter really is the platform for political and, news media. And, it is a major platform for me, too. If I'm banned, it's his platform. He could do what he'd like. I'll go somewhere else. And if I'm unsuspended and brought back, I'll continue to do the reporting that I do on the platform and critiquing Musk well within Twitter's policies.
Awesome. You love to see it. Well done, Matt. I don't know why I'm banned from Twitter, says journalist Matt Binder. No one does either, except for maybe Elon has very, very thin skin. Oh, shit. I liked that today he tweeted, and soon, ladies and gentlemen, the coup de grace, as if this is all part of the plan, foible.
Reporters covering Elon Musk being nuked. Dania Sullivan for CNN, Drew Harwell for Washington Post, Ryan Mack for the New York Times, and Aaron Rupar, independent.
Oh man, another journalist. Breaking, journalist Lynette Lopez is suspended. She has reported for years about Elon's dubious business practices at Tesla. Her sources have previously been targeted by private spies hired by Musk. Gone. I wonder what happened there. Interesting. Probably nothing.
Independent. All gone.
Awesome. Love it.
They're gone. Take a look at this. So Libs of TikTok says Taylor Lorenz just scrubbed her entire Twitter.
Aaron Rupar literally hates Bernie. What the fuck is Poole talking about? Oh, is Poole talking about issues that he doesn't know about? This would be a first.
Twitter account.
What?
Oh me, oh my. Times they are a-changin'.
Love it.
Prominent liberal journalist Aaron Rupar suspended by Twitter. For those that aren't familiar with Aaron Rupar.
Oh, this is good. Elon took the one conservative joke to the extreme and now he thinks he's a plane. That's really funny.
There's a verb. It's called ruparing, or to rupar. Yeah. And it's when you take an out-of-context clip and apply false context to manipulate people. Yeah. That is ruparing. So he got nuked, and I think...
That is ruparing. So has Libs and TikTok been ruparing every single person that they ever post? That sounds like they've been ruparing that a lot. And that ruparing that Libs and TikTok has been doing has been resulting in people getting in a little bit of trouble sometimes. Bomb threats, death threats, that kind of shit. Man, vicious ruparing going down.
Tweet here. Yashir Ali says, Aaron Rupar tells me he has not received any correspondence from Twitter and does not know why his account is suspended.
I believe Rupar's the guy that sued. Didn't he sue the previous Twitter administration to get his account back? Or
no.
Am I thinking of a different guy?
Someone else.
Who's that?
They would never suspend that guy. Yeah. I'm wondering if the reason they got suspended was for posting something pertaining to his location. I don't know for sure, but Elon just the other day posted a video of a guy who attacked his family, his kid.
Who looked like an Antifa guy.
Yep.
He was dressed like
Michael Knowles, of course. I need some independent observations on the following things. Who can we get that's not going to have a slanted or biased view on it? Michael Knowles. That Michael Knowles, I tell you.
Like one,
Total
acting
black
like
bloc.
one, yeah.
Conservatives don't do that. Conservative guy, in fact, I got to be honest. I put out that tweet where I was like, Neuralink was, I used to think it was scary and dangerous, but then Elon agreed with me ideologically. Now I like it. Like, I'd be willing to bet anyone on the right who's crazy enough to track down Musk would be like, we love you, Elon.
Of course.
Keep it up.
You always got false flags. Can never.
Oh, this is their evidence that the person that's in the car was not only an actual person that was trying to attack Elon, of which we have zero evidence yet, but still, we'll just believe Elon because anything he says is the truth, not that there's an entire website tracking all the lies that Elon lies about. Either way, that's basically it, right, Tim? When it comes down to it, it means that it's Antifa.
Truly judge a book by its cover, like
he did own a car.
Speechless.
That's true.
Yeah. And it was not a bad car. So
that's the one wrinkle in the argument here.
Some kind of wealth asset.
But it's great. I don't care at all. So, I don't want to hear this. Well, we thought Elon was going to be the free speech absolutist.
Oh, you don't want anyone to bring up the thing that all of you have been screaming for the past, I don't know, forever about social media, that you've all been screaming about free speech, how much you care about it. That's kind of been the card-carrying rallying cry of the right. Is that switching over now? So now is it like you finally get to be like, yeah, we didn't give two fucks about free speech. I'll be honest with you. We don't know what it is. Yeah, we have no idea. What we basically wanted was all of the lefties to be silenced so that there would be a safe space for all of us to be inside where we could hear our own voices and the voices would reflect off the walls in an echo, if you will, some kind of a chamber in which we could hear our own echoes. That's what we've wanted all along. So that's what it really was about. But we found that if we said the free speech thing over and over, it sounded better than that. Yeah, because when you put it like that, it does sound like we're all a bunch of snowflakes who don't like the marketplace of ideas and are kind of scared of that because the battlefield will probably destroy our ideas. So instead, we prefer to have the safe spaces. That would be nice. So we have it now.
And now he's suspending. No, I didn't. I don't know. I'm not a free speech absolutist. I believe in standards and norms. And you know what I really believe in? Banning these left-wing losers. And
I know. Trust us. We knew. We knew all along. This was never about free speech. Again, you don't know what that is. All this time, it's been you don't want freedom of you want freedom of consequence from being able to say the N-word or being transphobic or just being able to call out, I don't know, how the Jews control the banks and the media. You wanted freedom from all that. You're like, I want freedom to be able to do a little crumb of Holocaust denial. That's true freedom. That's what I want. I also don't want the left to have a voice. So I want to censor the left. That's good. And then I want to be able to say the N-word. And then I guess that's free speech, right? I just described free speech.
I really believe, especially banning that guy who was tracking Elon's plane. That guy's gone.
Right.
But the rest of them too. I see absolutely no reason for Elon Musk to tolerate them remaining on Twitter.
How do you define free speech?
Well,
so for the record, Tim agreed 100%. Because again, Tim has no real values. He's just got ideology that he's trying to push and squeeze reality into this weird box where it like fits his own things. So for Michael Knowles to say straight up right there, a lot of people are going to talk about principles. Apparently we've been talking about free speech and like we care about it or something. Fuck that noise. I don't give two fucks about that. I just want to see these losers get roasted. That's all I've ever wanted. So yeah, fuck them. And then Tim Pool's like, right. Moonlord, on the other hand, at least asked, which I would say is a pretty astute question. How do you define free speech, Michael Knowles? Because that's pretty weird. You've been saying that you care about free speech for a long time. It was basically the freedom of speech to be transphobic. That was it. You were finding that in certain places on the internet, it was hard to be as transphobic as you wanted to be.
I define free speech as I define free speech, I suppose, as the founding fathers might have defined free speech. Which is, or even as John Locke, the father of liberalism, might have defined free speech, which is not totally free, which is...
Again, everyone's known this whole time. Michael, it's not a surprise. I'm not like, wait, what? What? They actually have no principles at all? This is just a fucking team sports thing? They just hate their enemies? They can say, hey, we are pro-life, but at the same time, I want to get an abortion because, yeah, don't want to have to deal with that right now. No shit. Of all of the, let's just say, grifting sellouts, no one was having more fun the other day than Glenn Greenwald. I mean, can scroll through some of the soy, but, oh, he was just losing his shit as soon as it started. Okay, the antitrust bill. Having been on the receiving end of Keith Olbermann's tweet mobs more than once, I can't say I'm going to miss him, but I don't like seeing anyone get suspended, so I hope this isn't permanent. I'll bet anything conservative journalists like this will be infinitely more consistent and principled in their objection to censorship of liberal journalists than any liberal journalists ever were. Liberals cheer censorship of their enemies, whine when it's in their friends. Okay, here it is. This is where it kind of started. What happened to private companies have the right to disassociate themselves from anyone they want? Have you ever heard of terms of service? If you don't like how Twitter does content moderation, start your own social media site. Remember all those arguments? Does it matter who's the dictator? The problem is the dictatorship. Doesn't matter if there's a benevolent dictator. Doesn't matter if there's a dictator who's like, I'm going to run this company like a business, as was kind of how the previous administration does. We know this now thanks to the Twitter files. Or there is a, let's just say, a man-baby child crying, feeling his diaper, being like, I'm very thin-skinned and sad and I want to be loved. Why won't you love me? I am Reddit manifest. Well, yeah, if he wants to run this thing like a playground, then obviously that also sucks. That's brutal. In both cases, does not change. It doesn't matter. Like all these right-wingers right now are trying to throw old quotes at me when I was like, fucking Matt Binder just got silenced, and then they're like, private corporation can do what it wants, blah blah blah. Here it says, you know, the problem is that you know, under capitalism, corporate monopolies form, and they dictate and dominate industry lands. This is you. I was like, yes, it is. I'm gonna type that out a second time as a reply because it's still true. That doesn't change. This is like that remains constant in both of these. For slow liberals struggling to understand the point, I already devoted a full show to critiquing Musk's inconsistent free speech practices. I would say critiquing is a far cry from being like, well, I don't agree with all his decisions. He is the amazing Superman that I always wish we had. That's how I would summarize this video. I'll bet anything conservative journal. Oh yeah, there's principled. Antitrust bill from Klobuchar would be a serious step forward, limiting the monopoly abuses by Facebook and Google, whose lobbyists are pouring huge money to stop it. Can we do this for Twitter as well? Here's yet another person who tried to warn liberal media censorship of cheerleading that you were fortified and supporting a framework that not only could be, but likely would be soon used against you and your friends, because that's how arbitrary censorship power always works. So instead of taking this as an opportunity to be like, okay, so the exact horrifying example that was really, really worrying to a lot of people, which is that like out of nowhere, Twitter might just try and censor a whole bunch of journalists at once if they disagree with what the CEOs and the board want to put out there. That happened. That happened with Elon Musk. He did it all at once. He was just like, purge, fuck them all. They're gone now. Because they hurt my feelings. They hurt my feelings. They were critical of me, and I don't want them around anymore. So bye, you're gone now. And MSNBC right now seems to be like, oh shit, he can do that. Okay, well we're gonna suspend one of those journalists. Bye, Ben. You're out. We just got to figure out how this is going. What the fuck? Why would you bend to this? This like, and for Glenn and everyone else, this is your moment. At least it should be. Because here it is. It's actually happening. Not all this fucking garbage ass Twitter files where it's like, well, it seems in this case, instead of actually outright censoring all these right wingers, they put in a lot of practices, steps, and measures to make sure that didn't happen immediately. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the opposite of what you all said. You kind of made it seem like they were just deleting accounts. No, they were going through extreme measures to prevent suddenly taking someone out like the president, even though they were like, well, he's really, really bad for society and democracy. We probably shouldn't have him on our platform, but he is the president, so let's keep him on kind of shit. But this is it. This is just a tyrant being like, no criticism. I forgive you. Just last month, EU officials threatening Elon Musk with sanctions and other legal reprisals if he didn't censor more and other. No, if he didn't protect his fucking platform. It's not just. It's censorship in one case, and what in the other? It's like, oh well, that's actually protecting people from hate speech. Well, wait, are we censoring the hate speech? Is there a trust and safety council? Can we prevent children from being exploited on the platform? Pretty serious shit. Yeah, probably stuff that the EU wants to put into consideration when they're like, this can affect society. We understand that this social media thing, it's like, I know everyone says Twitter isn't real life, but it has real life consequences. It can result in people and life changing. It can have uprisings, Arab Springs, if you will. There's revolutions that can take place. People can commit suicide or unalive themselves based on, the harassment that they face on these kind of platforms. There are very real world, like human trafficking is facilitated by social media. It has very serious consequences. It's not just, it shouldn't just be a wild billionaire's plaything, but it is. It's like a dude who has a shiny new toy, but unlike a fucking Bugatti, this one can destabilize society. But he still has the midlife crisis mobile, and he's showing us all how much of a midlife crisis he's having. Again, untold levels of divorce. It's reaching heights we didn't know were humanly possible.
Watching the same liberal corporate journalists who explicitly agitated for a regime of social media censorship steadily and righteously wrap themselves in the flag of free speech is simultaneously nauseating and hilarious, but also encouraging and inspiring. Welcome indeed.
Okay, who else is there? A great reporter at the Business Insider who published an important investigation of Tesla has also been suspended. Tesla knew its Model S battery had a design flaw that could lead to leaks and ultimately fires starting in 2012. It sold the car anyway. And gone. Also, Tesla stock. Let's see what Tesla stock is at. Holy shit. 151.28. Oh, the market did not take kindly today. Look at this. This is the most expensive midlife crisis in human history, and I think probably ever will be. This is going to probably be the peak in terms of our story, because you got to think that not just the purchasing, the borrowing, and now the interest he has to pay on the divorce app that he's bought and made himself the main character, trapped in his own hell, but it's tanking his basic foundation. Like, he's selling Tesla stock to keep this whole clown shoes operation afloat. And investors are seeing that and also seeing his performance. Like, he is publicly embarrassing himself, like flailing, I'm rich. No, you're not rich anymore. Or at least, well, yeah, sorry, you are like the fourth richest person in human, but you won't be for long if you keep this up. Like, every single day, if you are a massive, like, Elon supporter, imagine being someone who both has a lot of money invested in Tesla stock and also follows Elon so closely that online right now you're seeing all his tweets and you're seeing him fucking just flailing all over the place, and you're like, God damn, sir, can you pull up just like a little bit? Can we just get like a 1 day growth? Can we go from 151 to 155 or something, please? Is this gonna hit 100? If this hits 100, oof, in 2023, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's like anything else, could make a huge rebound, massive rebound. I'll say this is something that's not based on facts or science or anything, based on feelings. The normies I've spoken to seem completely done. Like, the idea of driving a Tesla, to a lot of people I knew who probably wanted Teslas in the past, is like, ew, gross. No. Even people I know who like wanted to ever buy an electric car, it's just like, fuck that shit. It's going to zero? Amazing. You know, my stocks are going really up right now. I don't know if you've noticed, and it's awesome. And so now's a really good time to invest in Surfcoin. Surfcoin.com. Let's get rich together, my comrades. Surfcoin.com. Get on the ground floor. Get in there. Invest heavily, and make the world a better place. We're all going to get rich together. It's going to be amazing. So yesterday, after Matt Binder was banned, and after a whole bunch of other people were banned, I was told that there is a Twitter Spaces, and who told me? Was it? I want to give a shout out to that account because they're pretty funny. Maybe it was Disney Prime. Yeah, so Disney Prime Video, which is kind of like a lefty meme generating account, ended up telling me about it. But they told me go check out this Twitter Spaces. I go to this Twitter Space, and in there I see Elon Jet and Matt Binder both talking on Twitter. They're both banned, but they're both talking in the space to thousands of people. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I guess I tweeted about it, I posted about it, that post went viral, and then that must have reached someone at Twitter who's like, sir, the banned accounts are not only speaking to each other, but they're speaking to a bunch of journalists, and the other, like, it wasn't just those two, there was the journalists who got banned were also in this thing, and they were all just talking about how fucked up this is. They were all sharing stories on his own platform about how they didn't dox him, they didn't post his real-time information. One of them was like, I didn't even post the links to Elon Jet's Instagram account. All I posted was that LAPD. Like, it was really bad. It was really bad that it was all happening on Twitter too. And so Elon joins the call. Elon tries to salvage this whole thing by jumping in there. And I was watching this live and I was like, this is so wild.
In the last few hours with a handful of journalists being banned.
Well, as I'm sure everyone who's been doxing would agree, showing real-time information about somebody's location is inappropriate, and I think everyone on this call would not like that to be done to them. And there is not going to be any distinction in the future between journalists, so-called journalists, and regular people. Everyone's going to be treated the same. You're not special because you're a journalist. You're a Twitter. You're a citizen. So no special treatment. You dox, you get suspended. End of story. So and ban evasion, or trying to be clever about it, like, oh, I posted a link to the real-time information, is obviously that is obviously simply trying to evade the meaning. There's no different than actually showing real-time information.
So when you're saying posting a link to it, I mean, some of the people like Drew and Ryan Mack from the New York Times who were banned were they were reporting on it in the course of sort of pretty normal journalistic endeavors. You consider that like a tricky attempt at ban evasion?
You show the link to the real-time information, ban evasion, obviously.
Drew, I don't.
But no one did that. That's the weirdest thing. It's like, but that never happened, sir. No one had real-time tracking information of you and published it. I don't even think like some of those boomer journalists would know how to do that, to be honest with you. I don't know how they'd know how to affix like a GPS tracking device style, Google Maps associated, oh, this is where he is right now kind of thing. And in which case, I wouldn't have much to say in terms of like, yeah, that could pose an immediate and dangerous threat to Elon Musk. No question. If you have a real-time tracking device showing where he is on like to precision in the world at all times, yeah, okay, fine. That's certainly something that I would, even if I was the owner or not the owner, bring up and be like, this is very, very bad. Please stop.
I don't think you were posting the real-time information, right?
I mean, you're suggesting that we're sharing your address, which is not true. And you're suggesting that we're posting. We never. I never posted your address.
You posted a link to the address.
We posted a link. In the course of reporting about Elon Jet, we posted links to Elon.
Yeah, that's not his home address. It's Elon Jet showed the last airport that he would have landed at. That's it. That's what he is claiming is real-time tracking information that almost got him assassinated. Was showing the publicly available information. And do you know why this information is public, by the way? I saw Ben Shapiro buy into this right-wing Elon Musk fucking sponsored conspiracy. And this is why Elon Musk is going down this QAnon rabbit hole right now, because he needs the power of like the actual conspiracy theorists to be able to back up some of the shit he's trying to pull off right now. But that information is public so that fucking planes don't smash into each other all the time. This is yet like a publicly funded and public necessity of a program in order to track real time all planes that are in the air so that they do not hit each other. That is why we have these systems in place. That is why these exist. And for him to suddenly claim, he's like, well, I actually bought a private tracking ID on my plane. You can buy masking services. That part is true. But the masking services don't hide the fact that those planes take off and land. It hides the association, perhaps, of the account owner with that specific plane. If someone figures out that serial number based on that, I believe to be Elon Musk, that's them figuring that out with public information. Again, in both cases.
On Jet, which are now not online and now banned on Twitter. And Twitter also, of course, marks even the Instagram and map.
That's why this is so fucked. This is, again, a billionaire trying to do billionaire shit. Where they think they're above the rest of the world, and they're convincing their fans, all these fucking, oh, I just beg for the opportunity, the 1 in a million chance to become one of you one day. I will be your drone until then. Like, all of them buy into the shit, but they just want to have a separate set of standards. Like Elon Musk wants to be above it all. He wants to be like, well, you know what, fuck it. I don't think anyone should be able to know where I am at any given time, especially not my flight logs, even if it's public available information. No one needs to know if I travel or leave the country. It's like, okay, but like, you can't just have a separate set of rules because you're rich. That's what this is really coming down to.
Mastodon accounts of Elon Jet as harmful, using, we have to acknowledge, using the same exact link blocking technique that you have criticized.
That's the other part. He was using the same thing that he was criticizing Hunter Biden for.
Address, which is not true. And you're suggesting that we're posting. We never. I never posted your address.
You posted a link to the address.
We posted a link. In the course of reporting about Elon Jet, we posted links to Elon Jet, which are now not online and now banned on Twitter. And Twitter also, of course, marks even the Instagram and Mastodon accounts of Elon Jet as harmful. We have to acknowledge, using the same exact link blocking technique that you.
Oh my God, Elon right now is still, he won't log off. This is why all the companies are failing. He's like locked himself in the Twitter HQ and he's still just being the reply guy to all these far right accounts. Stephen King, why have journalists had their Twitter accounts suspended? Please explain, and it better be a good explanation. Viva Frey, is this you? Sir, free speech does not include the right to yell fire in a crowded theater. That is what Donald Trump was doing and why he's been rightfully banned. How does that apply to here? Elon Musk making up stories that people were posting real-time tracking locations of him to be assassinated is not the same as this. And then Elon responds, fire! This is the exact same thing that happened to you. How could he not have realized, how could Stephen not have realized that when he tweeted it, I can't believe he bigoted youngest. Now me and Elon are going to be the biggest of friends.
I've criticized as part of the Hunter Biden New York Post story in 2020. So what is different here and there?
No more acceptable for me. It's no more acceptable for me, for you, than it is for me. It's the same thing. So anyway.
So it's unacceptable what you're doing?
He couldn't even answer 3 questions. So first, he thought it would be a good idea to jump in there. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to take care of this. Doxing, if you doc real-time location information, doesn't matter if you're a journalist, no special treatment. Oh, we didn't actually dox you, sir. We didn't actually post your address. We posted a link to an article that was related to someone who had tracked the airport in which you will have landed, which you are actually confirming that that was in fact your plane, but that's not your home address or your real-time tracking information. We never did that. Doesn't matter. You're a journalist. You dox. Everyone gets treated the same. It's like, well, we didn't do that. Actually, the very links that you were blocking, you were using the same technology that you criticized the previous administration for doing against Hunter Biden. That was you. It's like, you dox, you're gone, and then disappear. And then he just destroyed and deleted Twitter Spaces. I'm not joking. After this, I guess he thought the solution to this is, I don't know what's glitching out, and we don't really have a team to be able to fix that. Much easier if I just get rid of Twitter Spaces. So Twitter Spaces is gone now. He says he's working out a legacy bug. Yes. Weird timing. Weird timing that he found a legacy bug that just happened to appear right when he publicly embarrassed himself on Twitter Spaces, as people he banned were also on that Twitter Space broadcasting about how shitty he is to people on his own platform. That is very embarrassing. That is very sad and embarrassing. It's genuinely, this entire thing, like, so pathetic. So pathetic. Like, he is being driven just 100% by emotions right now. And I guess if you've surrounded yourself with like a whole bunch of yes men, women, or no, not women, he doesn't respect women. So a whole bunch of yes men, that's all you got around you, just fucking yes men being like, you're a genius, this is great, yes, no, keep going, sir. Yeah, maybe they're accelerationists, I don't know. Maybe they're inside job shit where they're just like, keep going, it only becomes better the more you tweet. Why don't you tweet at AOC and tell AOC that she can't date you, sir? That one really goes off, like shit like that, and to the point where the whole thing just implodes upon itself. Elon Musk kills Twitter audio feature after bizarre talk with journalists. Twitter Spaces, the audio feature that allows people to participate in group chats using the social media platform, has been disabled, and it's not clear whether it will ever return. The move comes after Elon Musk joined a group chat hosted by BuzzFeed reporter Katie Napoulos on Thursday night, where the Twitter CEO spoke incoherently about the new rules around what the billionaire called doxing. Musk banned at least 10 different journalists on Thursday night, as he alleged to have shared his location in real time. In reality, those journalists were merely reporting on the controversy surrounding the Elon Jet's Twitter account, which pulls publicly available information from various aircrafts. They were reporting on another account that got banned, and that's him saying they posted my real-time location information and address and doxed me. Now, Notables started a Twitter Space chat after the ban on the journalist, and at least 3 of the people who had been banned were able to join the conversation, including Matt Binder from Mashable, Drew Harwell from the Washington Post, Jack Sweeney, the 20-year-old college student behind the Elon Jets, Jason Kalakanis, a venture capitalist who bought on Twitter during Musk's acquisition but says he no longer works for the company, also joined the conversation, berating Sweeney and raising wild hypotheticals. Kalakanis asked Sweeney repeatedly how he would feel if Musk or his family members were killed, a rather inflammatory question given the fact that there's no evidence anyone has used Elon Jets to stalk or harass Musk. I repeat, including from the LAPD themselves, who have said there has at this time been no crimes charged. But they are aware of the situation. They put that out there. Musk has claimed Elon Jets puts his family in danger, but said as recently as a few weeks ago he'd allowed the Twitter account to stay active because he believes in free speech. That obviously changed this week, and Musk has even said he'll take legal action against the man behind the account. Musk also joined, by the way, back in the day, he offered the kid $5,000 to take the account down. And he never took it, so good on you. Good on you. Yeah. Journalists are obviously the targets of frequent doxing, especially those who report on far-right movements. Yeah, we should talk about that. Matt Binder has some creepy-ass stalker. I'm going to guess this is from James Lindsay's crowd because of all the reporting he was doing on the Nexium cult. Some creepy-ass stalker who posts pictures of Matt's children and says things like groomer, pedophile, and shit like that, and dropped into Matt Binder's DMs and threatened to reveal and dox the location of the borough in New York where his kids go to school. That person is still on Twitter. What does that tell you? But Matt Binder has been taken down. Like, that is fucked. This is not about protecting families, children, or anything like that, because if so, wow, that's a pretty clear-cut case. This is a very dangerous individual. This person should probably be reported to the proper authorities. This is fucked up. They're not special because you're a journalist, you're a Twitter, you're a citizen. So no special treatment. You dox, you get suspended. End of story. The word doxing has traditionally been used to mean the sharing of private information, such as a home address or private phone number. Well, I guess they changed the definition of grooming, CRT, woke, so I guess doxing is next on it. Doxing means whatever they want it to be, like every other thing that they fucking reappropriate and change into their weird little molds. This is ours now. And they're like, okay, well, that's not what it means, but the fuck, sure. shitty. That sucks. Words had meaning once, and now they've lost utility, you know? I mean, I guess the people who are afraid and want to remove pronouns from the English language, yeah, makes sense that they would have some qualms about words that have meaning. Triggered, fucking PTSD. The term ban evasion had a very specific meaning at Twitter until Musk took over, meaning someone starting a new account after getting banned on the platform. Musk obviously has a different definition of that term too. Nodopoulos asked for reporting on the controversy around Elon Jets, a high-profile saga since it involved one of the world's richest people, was enough to ban someone under these new rules. When you're saying posting links to it, some of the people like Drew and Ryan Mack from the New York Times, they were reporting on it in the course of a pretty normal journalistic endeavor. You consider that like a tricky attempt at ban evasion? You share a link to real-time information? Ban evasion? Obviously, Musk said. That's not real-time information. You were no longer at the airport at any point in this story. That's not where you were supposedly attacked. Or sorry, one of your family members was supposedly attacked. So that's what they posted at the most. And that's not even them posted it. They posted a link to the Elon Jets account to be like, this is the account that apparently Elon Musk is planning on suing. This is newsworthy. And again, this information that he's posting is based on publicly available information. You can say that associating you with what you call a private ID is not the public part, but if he's made that guess and now you are confirming it, you in fact are the one confirming that that happened to be you. Are you doxing yourself? Is this a Glenn Greenwald actually doxed Taylor Lorenz at the end of the day? Or sorry, actually doxed Chaya Rychek, like libs of TikTok? Because that's what this is. You're confirming that this private ID plane was in fact you and that this person's threatening your life because they knew where you landed in the airport. I never posted your address, Harwell said. You posted a link to the address, Musk claimed. Though it's not clear how a flight tracker might be called an address. Do you own the airport? Is that what you believe? Does Musk think he owns it? Musk has recently claimed that someone stalking his 2-year-old son, even posted a video someone he claimed had stopped the car, had tried to suggest that was a direct result of the Elon Jets account. But open source intelligent researchers have located where the video was taken, noting it was nowhere near an airport, and roughly a day later than any flight by Musk's private jet. Let that sink in. This was roughly a day later than any flight by the private jet. Not only is it not real-time tracking information, it was over a day later. And again, the reason we have to actually emphasize this shit and call it out is because for some reason, a lot of weirdos are letting him get away with it. This is a billionaire lying to your faces and silencing journalists with a massive social media platform that he was able to buy because capitalism's fucking awesome. It's the best. And so a tyrant, a man baby, a child, a petulant child can do this kind of shit. Normally, people don't really have this stuff shoved in their faces because most people want to turn a profit. Most people want to run businesses like businesses at that level, or at least try and gut them and then sell the parts and scrap them out for whatever reason, and then another company can go absorb it, and then you collect the pieces. That's typical business. This is a human being fucking divorce flailing. That's what's happening, and broadcasting it on the device that he owns. In the course of reporting about Elon Jet, we posted links to Elon Jet, which are now not online, and we are banned on Twitter. But then Harwell brought up in the way in which Twitter was now blocking links to Elon Jet and other social media platforms, similar to how Hunter Biden's laptop story was blocked. Twitter also, of course, makes even the Instagram and Mastodon accounts of Elon Jet as harmful, we have to acknowledge, using the same exact link blocking technique that you've criticized as part of the Hunter Biden New York story. It's no more acceptable for me, for you, than it is for me. It's the same thing. There was an awkward silence in the chat as Harwell and the moderators were clearly trying to make sense of what the billionaire was trying to say. So anyway, Musk continued. So it's unacceptable what you're doing, Harwell said. No, what? You dox, you get suspended. End of story. That's it, Musk said before leaving the call. Yeah. The rage quit. It has a name. It's called the Thursday Night Massacre? No way. The Thursday Night Massacre. The Thursday Night Massacre is a term referring to the suspension of the accounts of several high-profile journalists that occurred on December 15, 2022 on the social media network Twitter. At least 9 journalists. That's fucking hilarious. Well, I guess I'm tweeting this. It has a name. Elon also bans Mastodon links as the Twitter purge continues, and the Mastodon account. That's not sad. Yeah. Oh, I did want to see Big Joel's take on it. What do you think, Big Joel? Oh, you're so quiet, Big Joel.
And the account Elon Jet, an account that posts publicly available information about where Elon Musk takes his private jet. Interestingly, that's something he specifically said he would not do. After Elon did this, a number of journalists picked up the story, and Elon banned them too. He calls what they were doing doxing, which to me makes literally no sense. They weren't posting his address or anything. They were reporting the story. That's what I'd call it, Journalists reporting a story about one of the most famous men in the world, about the actions he does on the platform he owns. That is literally their job, and he banned them for doing it. After this, Elon Musk made a poll indicating that these suspensions were temporary, that none of these journalists would be off the platform forever. Something that indicates to me that this was all an elaborate power move. You know, he can do whatever he wants, he's the boss, and if he wants journalists off the platform for pissing him off,
so he made 2 polls. The first poll did not go in his favor. So right afterwards, he was like, oh shit, I'm just going to tweak this a wee bit, and then posted a second poll, which as of now is still in favor of reinstating all the accounts. So, I mean, if he's going to Vox Populi, Vox Day, I don't know how much time we have left. I'm guessing like in 9 hours maybe, because he made it for the full 24 hours this time. Want to give his fans a lot of time. The problem being is that if you curate that I'm the free speech guy and everyone kind of looks at what happened here, all of a sudden it's like, well, even the free speech crowd is pretty much like, eek. Yeah, it's at 58.7 for now, 41.3 for 7 days. This is definitely not looking good for old Elon. 8 hours left, 8 hours to go.
That is his right. We are all living in his shadow. It occurs to me.
What's my Mastodon? It's the same as all the things. It's the Serfs. Mastodon.lol/@theserfstv.
Looking at this sequence of events, that none of this is all that much fun to me anymore. I don't like the vibes of an Elon Musk-owned Twitter. I especially don't like enriching a petulant, dictatorial child who bought a website claiming that he was doing it for the public good, only to use it as his own personal stomping ground, a place to silence dissenters, a place to shut up people he doesn't like. Obviously, it's very easy to look at what I just said and say, well, obviously, that's what he was going to do. Elon Musk is a dick. There's no other plausible outcome that could have happened here. You're right. Obviously, you are right. But at some point, a line was just crossed for me, and I no longer enjoy Twitter. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I'm not here to tell you today what platforms to use or not to use, but I will say this. People like me, people who create posts with high engagement, people who tweet a lot, people who have fun on the platform, we are the lifeblood of Twitter. We are the reason why it functions as a website, and our continued presence there absolutely is helping Elon Musk perpetuate his petty little regime. I won't be on Twitter anymore. For now, I'll just make dumb little YouTube videos here. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, also, I just got a Mastodon account. You can follow me there if you want to. I actually have no idea how much I'll be posting there. At some point, you know, how much really do I need to post? How much am I getting out of posting? This whole Twitter thing has really made me ask the big questions, like, why post so much? Anyway, bye.
The European Union is launching an investigation. Whoa, slow down. The European Union is launching an investigation into Twitter and banning the banning of the journalists. Oh, the UN is talking about this too. Like, this is actually pretty serious. Twitter suspension of journalists sets dangerous precedent, UN warns. The United Nations is very disturbed by Twitter's abrupt suspension of a group of U.S. journalists, the spokesperson has said, warning the move sets off a dangerous precedent, as the EU said the social media platform could fall foul of the forthcoming digital laws. Stefan Dujarric on Friday said the UN was very disturbed by the barring of prominent tech reporters and news organizations, including CNN, The Washington Post, The WAPO, New York Times, who've written about Musk and the tech company he owns. Dujarric said the media voices should not be silenced on a platform that professed to be a haven of freedom of speech because it was all a ruse. He was lying the whole time, as was every other conservative who claimed that they care about this. They don't care about this. It's always been about team sports. They wanted to be able to say the N-word as much as they could, be as transphobic as they wanted to be, and also get rid of all the lefties and silence them. That's the ideal world. That's what they think free speech is. That's free speech as defined by the right. The warning from the EU came from Vera Jourova, the European Commission Vice President for Values and Transparency, who tweeted the news about the arbitrary suspension of journalists on Twitter is worrying. I'd say it's probably more than that. Its provisions include a requirement for when users and content are penalized, it must be a diligent and proportionate manner with due regard for fundamental rights. This is reinforced under our Media Freedom Act. Elon Musk should be aware of that. There are red lines and sanctions soon, she said. Breaches of the DSA, which comes for the force for large tech companies next year, carry the threat of fines of 6% of global turnover or being temporarily suspended in extreme cases. The European Media Freedom Act, which also addresses the operation of tech platforms, is currently in its draft form. Like, he already has to pay $1.5 billion a year in interest. I don't know if behind the scenes, by the way, Elon knows something that all of us don't, as in, like, sir, in its current form, with our server costs, the inability for us to turn a profit, the loss of over now 60% of our advertisers that account for 85% of our revenue, you basically trying to patch the holes by bleeding your other company and selling your stock to be able to pay for Twitter. This cannot continue, especially because we are running into problems. The like button stopped working the other day, and it's not working again today. Mixed with the fact that, like, there's just not any engineers who are left who can stop this. We feel that it may not be operational in like 2 months or something like that. And now he's just like, well, why don't we drive engagement to its absolute extreme? You know, it's basically, it's going to be like a NASCAR race. I'm the stadium owner and I poison all of the drivers, and then we see how many people want to buy tickets as every single car just plows into each other. Like that's what I'm going to do. And then at that point, maybe Tencent will come over and they'll be like, okay, well, your engagement is way up because Nazis. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll buy something. The husk.
Clean up your room.
The husk of Musk. Sunak's spokesperson added the UK's forthcoming online safety bill would bar large platforms such as Twitter from suspending users if they had not breached the company's terms of service, thus preventing arbitrary decisions about freedom of speech online. However, Musk's suspension of the group tech journalist is on Thursday was for breaking new user guidelines about revealing people's location, which had been created the day before. He claimed they had breached the rule, which bars users from publishing live location information that would reveal a person's location regardless if the information is publicly available. The journalist had recently published the articles on Musk's suspension of a Twitter account that had shared publicly available data about the movements of the private jet. The news articles that several reporters had published before their accounts were suspended did not include information about real-time tracking location or the location of any family members. The Guardian has contacted Twitter for comment. Well, the problem is that Twitter doesn't have a person working there anymore who could handle PR calls. They fired that entire team. So that's not around. Oh, man. In terms of people who are asking where do I think this is going to go, I don't know if anyone can predict that. Like, he's tweeting right now still about should real-time doxing be allowed on Twitter? Great questions. But even though that's not what happened. Everyone at this point knows that's not what happened. But nobody cares.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arnie, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojack, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.